There is only one version of the Citroen Ami Cargo, so the range is simple enough to not even add to the different colors one can get on the two-seater version. In fact, all you can get are official Ami accessories. There's only one size too, with a bit of interior flexibility. The cargo area is basically the space that should be given to the passenger seat. Altogether there's about 400 liters of room to play with, and there are a few small dividers that can be used to vary the space a bit, but there's not a lot of flexibility. This is a vehicle that will be foreign to many drivers in many ways. For starters, it's limited to just 28 miles per hour and has a maximum range of just 46 miles. It's also small, measuring just 2.41 meters long, 1.39 meters wide and 1.53 meters high. It's smaller than the classic Mini and easier to park, can put it in a roadside parking lot, if necessary, for example. It is right at home in an urban setting and makes driving through a congested and stressful city center more relaxing due to its size and visibility all around. This will change in a flash on the way to the faster roads, where everything that made Ami great on the ancient city route would be the unpleasant obligation of being limited to 28 miles per hour in a tiny plastic case when surrounded by a much bigger and faster metal box. Perhaps more than the other vehicles that have been reviewed here, judging whether the Citroen Ami is good or not depends entirely on the purpose of using it. As a versatile, all-purpose commercial vehicle, this is just as inappropriate, despite all its undeniable benefits. It is slow, has a short range, cannot carry much and is not as safe as a conventional van. However, this doesn't stop it from being perfect for a particular set of needs. It's small enough to park close to almost any urban business site, costs a lot in no time, is very cheap to buy with a few manufacturer-backed monthly payments, and is much safer and more weather-resistant than a courier bike, be it motorized or pedal-driven. On top of that, it's a lot of fun and very eye-catching. As a last resort for moving between sites in the city, it's great. Just don't expect it to replace a convention van and do the same job. Compared to vans, the Citroen Ami feels small, slow, open and basic in its approach. Would assume that haven't thought so far that it will replace the Citroen Berlingo's fleet with Ami Cargo's payloads, so that's not the most relevant comparison. Better to compare it to riding a bike or moped, or indeed driving a Renault Twizy, through the city. The first thing to note is that every Citroen Ami in the UK will use the left steering wheel. It wasn't originally meant to come to the UK, and the economy involved meant it wasn't worth reconfiguring moving that wheel, pretty much a direct import. However, aside from remembering which door to enter, this shouldn't have a major impact on the way you drive in Ami. Visibility from behind the wheel is fantastic, with large windows, small pillars and a glass roof extending all the way back into the cabin. That glass roof is great for visibility, making eye contact with larger vehicles at traffic lights to make sure they see, for example, but it's a shame there are no blinds there, as on a clear day there is no way to keep them. The sun out of your eyes unless you bring your own hat or sunglasses. Long-sleeved ones will be able to touch all four corners of the cab from the driver's seat with a slight stretch, and even shorter drivers will be able to easily reach all three. This means there is no real need for parking sensors or cameras to know where the end of the cargo is because they are so close. Dimensions are a real bonus. Won't fit through small gaps like a scooter, but will quickly build the confidence to head into traffic gaps one would think of in a full-size van. It doesn't open up more of the city, but it does make it more relaxing to walk around. There's a clear lack of frills in the Ami Cargo, which means sturdy seats with little cushioning, a steering that isn't particularly assisted or sharp, and a firm ride that lets you feel most of the bumps around town, especially the small ones. While the big speed bumps aren't too bad, the rocky road is a sensory experience you don't want to repeat too often if you have the choice. There's no real brake regeneration to recharge the battery, so driving the Ami is a simple two-pedal driving process. Acceleration is progressive and smooth but not as fast as some adult EVs, meaning there's enough response to nibble around town but not enough to dump loading area content around. As well as no brake regeneration, there's also no hill restraint, so if you're on a steep part of town, have to use the handbrake regularly to stop it rolling backwards. Oddly enough, the gear selector is located to the left of the driver's seat, where you'll sometimes find seat controls or heated seat corner buttons. There's also no park, just drive, reverse, and neutral, but these are easy to customize. While it's not a fast vehicle, it's fairly easy to get to Ami's top speed. By being limited to 28 miles per hour, this means that the possibility of turning off the speed camera is thankfully reduced but not completely eliminated. Though the shame of being caught speeding on the Ami might mean staying under the limit while in the 20 miles per hour zone. That said, the Ami does its best job at around 10-15 miles per hour, which is the speed you'll find most often when heading for small urban streets.